What's going on, everybody? It's your boy, Loco, and I have some pretty good news. I was hired at a FAANG company. So that's pretty cool. So if you weren't already familiar with my story, I was laid off back in March 27th. I was working at a micromobility company called Bird, and they had this webinar type situation. Essentially, I got laid off over Zoom, and yeah, I didn't have a job. So what ended up happening was I needed to make a decision. So after I got laid off, I decided to make a video talking about, the situation that I was in.
Different situations that are going on in the world. Essentially, my role is no longer needed. And as of today, I'm essentially laid off.
And how I chose to perceive the situation and how I planned on moving forward. And I got a lot of comments, a lot of them. So I just wanted to address those real quick. Why was I still wearing the hat? Well, guess what? That's what I was wearing when I got the news. So I decided, hey, you know what? I'm just going to deliver this straight up as, how I received the news. I didn't want to get dressed and then, do this whole entire thing just to create a video. I was just giving you straight up, this is what happened. This is what I was looking like, hat and all. That's why. The other thing that came up a lot, 7-hour commute. That's quite a lot. That sounds impossible. How did you do that? Well, I was taking a train. I was also, doing contracts. So it was essentially like me having two jobs. It was like I had my main job, and then during my commute, like 5 hours of that time was spent on contracts. So it was like me having a second job. Made it work for me. The last thing that people decided to bring up was like, oh, well, you chose a bad industry. You shouldn't be in that industry, blah, blah, blah. Turns out that I really love this industry. I really love coding. I really love helping people with code as much as I possibly can. It's what I'm most passionate about. I'm not going to change it. Sorry. But anyways, after I got laid off, I had pretty much two paths in front of me. I could either work for another company. I liked it. Or I could work for myself, make YouTube videos, content creation, all this other stuff, right? Now, the reason why I wanted to work for a company was because, I really enjoyed being on a team. Being on my last team at Bird was pretty amazing. And I kind of wanted to continue that. I saw the opportunity to make a huge impact and, work with some really smart and great people. So I wanted to continue that. Also, the fact that I'm the sole income provider for my family, and, the fact that there's a stable paycheck coming in as well as benefits, that's also, a really good reason to want to work for a company. But deep down, I really wanted to be an entrepreneur. I wanted to go out and I wanted to create content. I wanted to create videos, do all these different things that I wanted to do. And it was also like something that would be where I would not be a victim of layoffs or anything, because it's my own company, obviously. And, I could just go out and help as many people as I possibly want or can by making things, tutorials that help people. It's something that I really enjoy doing. And that's like what I wanted deep down, was like to help the community. That's what I want. So now I'm thinking like, I have to weigh my decisions, right? And being the sole income provider, because my wife is being a mom 100% of the time, she's taking care of the kids, she's raising them, she's teaching them things, all this amazingness, right? I have to also do my due diligence and go out and try to find a job, whether I want to or not, right? Like I have to at least put in that effort to put out job applications and things like that. So it's like, yeah, I kind of want to do content creation a little bit more, but it's my responsibility to take care of my family and making sure that there's food on the table. There's always food on the table. And, having a job is definitely going to 100% provide that, right? Whereas being an entrepreneur might not necessarily be able to put food on the table all the time. Anyways, the day after I got laid off, March 28th, a lot of things are coming in. I made that video. It blew up. Go check it out. I'm getting a lot of different opportunities coming into my DMs, whether it be comments, Twitter DMs, Instagram DMs, emails. I'm getting a lot of stuff coming towards me. And this is Probably because one, I have a following on YouTube, and then two, like the fact that I worked at Bird, which is kind of like, it was the fastest growing unicorn company ever or something like that. It kind of looks good. So like I have a decent background where people can say that, yeah, he most definitely knows how to code and he's probably a good employee. So yeah, a lot of stuff is coming into my inbox and I'm seeing all these different opportunities. Well, one of these opportunities came through Twitter, and somebody reaches out to me in regards to a DevRel job. And on top of it being DevRel, it's also at a FAANG, which, for those of you that don't know, FAANG is an acronym for Facebook, Amazon, Apple, Netflix, and Google, some of the top tier companies in technology and pay and stuff like that. Anyways, it was from one of these FAANG companies, and that's pretty interesting to see. I've had most of those companies reach out to me in one form or another. Never have really been interested in working at a super large company like those, though. So yeah, they reach out about this DevRel position, and I'm pretty much saying like, my preference is to find a job where I'm coding in one of my preferred languages. So his response to me essentially saying like, that's not exactly what I was looking for, was to tell me a little bit more about the position. And he said that the responsibilities would include, hold on, I'm going to read them because I was really impressed with some of these responsibilities. They were creating example projects, tutorials, videos, speaking at events, and interacting with / helping the community. And I was like, what? And I was very skeptical at this point, right? Because he just listed out all these things that I would be doing if I were to go down this entrepreneurial path of content creation. And I was like, there's no way that a company, a FAANG company at that, would pay somebody to do all these things that I'm going to do anyways. Right. So what I actually end up doing is I do a little bit of research on DevRel and the actual position title, which was developer advocate. And I start looking into this stuff, right? And I actually find out that this is a relatively newer field. It's only been around for like a decade, maybe a little bit more than that. And what it's mainly focused on doing is being involved with the community, Swift community or any other community at that, and essentially figuring out what's going on in the community, being a major player in that community, and figuring out the problems of that community and possibly presenting them with solutions that are provided by the company that employs that person. So you're telling me my job would be to help the community as much as I possibly could? What? This is literally my dream job, and it's coming to me right after being laid off in a pandemic. So, needless to say, I'm still a little bit skeptical at this point. I'm thinking like, okay, well, yeah, making tutorials, that's something I want to do. Keeping my ear to the community, something I obviously want to do. But I don't want to just be only talking about like one company's software or whatever, right? Because that's like boring. I don't want to be a robot. I don't want to just be like, beep, boop, use this. That would suck. Like, I want to have creative freedom. I want to talk about what I feel is important to the community, and I want to touch on topics that I feel would be great for everybody, right? So I ask about this, and guess what? It turns out that that's actually encouraged. So the responsibility is to help as many people as I can, find out what problems they're having, and see if the company offers a solution for that problem and present that solution whenever it comes up. If somebody is still having a problem, but they decide to use a competitor's tools, that's absolutely fine. But just make it known that there's alternatives that work really, really well. Okay, I'm sold. This is my dream job. I couldn't possibly ask for anything better than this. I respond to the guy and say, yes, I'm interested. Let's get this thing rolling. And, I officially apply to the job position. Now, I go through the job interview process. This is by far the most different job interview I've ever had. I could talk about that some other day. But needless to say, I killed it. I did kill it. Now, that's definitely subjective. I was good enough to get an offer. Let's leave it at that. Let's try to be a little bit humble, right? But I killed it. And a couple days later, after they had their debrief, it came back that, I did good enough to get an offer. And you know what? It came in, looked great. No need for negotiation. Simply accepted the offer right then and there. Bam. Got him. And now it's official. Today is my first day. This is the first thing that I'm working on for my job, right? And it's official. I am a senior developer advocate at AWS Mobile. I made it, guys. Yay. Yay. Now, this is like a really big deal for someone like me. Keep in mind that I don't have a bachelor's degree. I'm a self-taught developer, and just 4 years ago, I was still employed at a restaurant. Like, my life is so drastically different in the most positive way that I could have never possibly imagined. And I really owe it all to learning to code. It's just like the thing that just flipped my life upside down and just made everything so amazing. And now I'm working at one of the best software companies in the entire world. Like half of the internet is built on top of AWS, and now I'm part of that. And my job is to essentially help people use these tools. Like, come on, man, that's the American dream right there. But anyways, with all that said, all this really means is that I plan on pumping out content like crazy. You guys are going to get so much so fast. I plan on putting out a lot of YouTube videos, blog posts. I'm going to start writing blog posts, and I'm going to be kicking out courses. I'm gonna be doing some courses. There's a lot of other things that I want to do. Write a book, maybe. Host a couple of events, something like that. I want to code. I want to have like some coding events, things like that. But need to give it a little bit of time. Need to see how everything fits together. See what I can and cannot do. But a lot of really great stuff is on its way, which is a really great reason to subscribe like right now. So with all that said, I just want to ask, is there any content here on YouTube that you wish you could see more of? Is there any like recommendations that you have for my channel on content or topics that you want covered? Let me know. Comments down below. Also, my job responsibility is specifically for iOS native, working essentially in Swift. So that is definitely coming. But I have the opportunity to work with Android native. That's a possibility. I can also do cross-platform. That's a possibility. Are those things that you want to see on this channel? Let me know in the comments down below whether you want to, see me stick to just Swift and iOS, or are you interested in expanding your tool set? I know that I am, but I don't want to force something that I'm interested in on you. So leave it all in the comments down below. Thanks for watching this long. I really appreciate it. Make sure you hit that subscribe button and go out there and keep coding passionately.